Hello, wherever you are in the world, if you're thinking about traveling to the Philippines or any nation for that matter for an extended period of time, you're probably going to want to find housing that is less expensive than hotels. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about rental options in the Philippines, although some of the information will be applicable to other nations as well. These observations and opinions are from living in Cebu City, the Philippines, for 10 months, and also from reading blogs and forums for probably a couple of years as I was investigating moving here. First of all, the Philippine economy works primarily on cash, the Philippine peso. Uh, the hotels, every hotel I've been to, resort, and all the shopping mall stores will take credit cards, but everybody else pretty much wants cash. Most airports have currency exchange, money changers at the airport. Be sure to get plenty of smaller bills also, because everybody you deal with is going to say they don't have change, and you're going to be given some very big tips that you didn't plan on. I'm landing here at Cebu City Airport. It's actually on Mactan Island, just across the bridge from Cebu City. And my white metered taxi from here cost me 200 pesos to go about 9 kilometers to the north end of Cebu City up near the Metropark Hotel, if you have any idea where that's at. But 9 kilometers, which is about 5.6 miles, cost me 200 pesos in a white metered taxi. As a comparison, they have yellow metered taxis at the airport. They're called airport cabs, and they charge about twice as much, 400 pesos for the same distance. That's been my experience. Frankly, after I've spent 30 hours in airports and on airplanes, that extra 200 pesos, which equals $4.35 US, I really don't care. It's not that much. It would have cost me $70 in the US for the same distance, I'm sure. I have heard stories of cab drivers trying to hide their meter and claiming it was going to be a 800 uh, peso trip, about the same distance to, for instance, Ayala Mall. So if you're in Cebu City and you hear something like that, you're being scammed big time here. Now back to finding a longer term rental. When I first arrived here, I rented a hotel for 2 weeks while I looked for something longer term. You'll find that that's primarily a cash market also. As a general rule, it's not always true, but as a general rule, they want your first month's rent and 2 months security deposit. Now, the one I'm living in right now, the condo I'm living in, only asked me for 1 month deposit. But what that means is that, for instance, if you find a 10,000 peso a month rental, it would require 300 pesos the first month and 2 months deposit. And that's about $652 US. Any dollar amounts I throw out there, I'm basing it on about 46 pesos to the dollar. That has varied in the 10 months I've been here from about 45.5 to almost 48. This brings up another point. How much cash should you bring? I brought $1,600. I wish I had brought 5,000. Every time you use an ATM at the Philippine bank, will charge you 200 pesos in most cases. Many of the U.S. banks will also charge $5 or more. So if you use an ATM 3 times a month, as I sometimes do, ATMs only allow you 10,000 pesos per each withdrawal. That's been my experience. Those fees are $28 a month, $344 a year, which equals 15,800 pesos a year. You can open a Philippine bank account if you've been here over 60 days and you apply and receive your ACR card, which makes you an accredited alien, and have all the other documents, your passport and all those types of things in order. You can open up an account where you will get rid of those fees. If you do an online search for houses, apartments, condos for rent, you'll bring up dozens of sites. I made dozens of contacts, sent the emails, left messages on phones, and received almost zero response when I got here. Finally, a guy from Craigslist, I had an ad on Craigslist, he called me back. He had access to two buildings. One was a high-rise condo unit. The other one was I think, a three-story apartment condo type complex. Salespeople all over the world are motivated by cash commissions and bonuses. Same is true here in the Philippines. You will probably be shown, especially as a foreigner, be shown the properties that pay the highest commission. Same thing goes if you're going to buy a television or a car. I and many others have found that the best way to find property in the Philippines is to ask. Philippine people are some of the best network people in the world, and they know somebody who has an apartment, a home, or condo for rent. As you start looking at properties, be aware of how much sun you're going to be receiving in the morning and afternoon. That's going to have a major impact on your electric bill if you're using air conditioning at all. There's little or no insulation used on exterior walls here in the Philippines, it seems, and my first condo, my walls still at 9:10 p.m. would be very warm. Also, if noise bothers you, you might want to stay away from a busy street or an industrial area, or a place where you see a lot of construction going on. Luzon in the north, the Visayas in the central area, and Mindanao in the south are your main island group. Here are a number of maps that will give you some idea of the layout and the cities here in the Philippines. One thing, the Luzon area, the North Island group, and the eastern Visayas get the brunt of the typhoons, and we average about 9 typhoons that make landfall every year. Volcanoes, Canaleon threw up some ash just a couple days ago. Now, I've done separate videos on the weather called Philippine Weather, you like it or not, and I've done a couple videos on a couple of condos that I've lived in, as well as some other on restaurants and culture and that type of thing. I'm going to show you a little video on what I've done to help decrease my heat gain in my condo. And I'm going to show you a little bit of video from up on my roof deck, where I'll point out some of the condos and about what their price range is, as well as some other areas to live here in Cebu City at least. My experience, studio condos average about 19 to 25 square meters, which is 205 to 270 square feet. Of course, you can get one bedrooms and homes and that type of thing, where you'll have much more space if that's what you desire. Big sunscreens cost quite a bit, so I ended up buying myself a couple of poles, actually 3 different poles, 2x2s, and tied those off to my balcony. And I bought myself some cloth, and in the evening before I go to bed, before I go to bed, I hang that cloth up, and it blocks the sun. A bed spacer is a bed in a dorm in a boarding house. I don't think you want to go there. Sorry for the wrinkled sign, but it gives you an idea of what's available here in Cebu City at least. Ask or read the signs, they're everywhere. In many cities you'll find these types of 2 and 3 story housing complexes, 4plexes, 8plexes, 12plexes, that type of thing. They're nearly always behind gates. The building on the left is Metropark Hotel. The building on the right is now finished, and they're now renting those out. They were included in one of the signs I showed you. Many of the buildings for blocks around me are these types of housing units, townhouse units, some much newer and better kept up than others. I think they're all behind gates. I'm guessing they get anywhere from 8,000 to 12,000 there again, depending upon whether they're furnished, how well they're furnished, how well they're kept up, that type of thing. Here's some more units down the street from me, and they are much better kept up than some of the others that you will see. I'm in Lahug, which is a barangay or village of Cebu City. It's up near IT Park, which is a commercial zone with call centers, banks, restaurants, all that. Now, if money is no object, the waterfront hotel there, you could just rent a room or several rooms there. I understand the U.S. Embassy has an office in the basement with a library and reading room. Or you can go across the Cebu Strait here and across the Bohol Sea, and those mountains over there, that should be Bohol unless somebody has moved it, Bohol Island. A lot of people like living over there. They had a rather bad earthquake in 2013, damaged a lot of the old churches especially. Up on the hill up there, you've got the Marco Polo Hotel on the left, and high-end condo units under construction. All this housing here, this is primarily housing, all these buildings across here. There again, there's the Metropark Hotel apartment complex. The building right there is a condo unit, my first condo unit, as a matter of fact. They have a real nice roof deck up there to read or jog or whatever. Most milk in the Philippines is imported, and I told them that I had ordered 10 cows and that when they showed up, they needed to bring them up to the roof deck, and then I would take care of them from there. They would not allow me to bring cows up there. They didn't realize I was joking either. A couple more things to consider when deciding where to live. The power will go out here just like every place in the world, probably more here than developed areas. The first condo I lived in had a backup generator, but it only worked in the common areas. The condo I now live in, the generator covers all areas, including all the units. Last week, in fact, for a couple of days, it was cutting in and out. Another thing to consider, internet and cellular service is underdeveloped, spotty. Some areas is quite good, others is just terrible or non-existent, so keep that in mind. Now, this is a 55-story condo complex on Mango Street near Mango Square, which is an entertainment district in Cebu City. You could buy one there or rent one. These condo units are in IT Park in Lahug, Cebu City. I believe studios generally start around 25,000 pesos per month. There again, there's no such thing as central air conditioning, so every unit has probably one or two window units there. I had a broker show me a one bedroom in that complex. I will run that clip right now. When you're looking at properties, always ask if there are any other charges involved. Some people quote you the total inclusive price. Others will not tell you about the condo fee, the association fee. Association fees, condo fees often run 50 pesos to 70 pesos per square meter. But they can be anything. They can be much higher than that. It's up to the owner. This lady was a broker. She dealt with, she handled property for several foreigners. I believe a Norwegian fella owned several condo complexes or condo units. This one was going to rent for 25,000 pesos a month, and then it's a one bedroom. I think the condo fee was a little over 2,000, 25 or 22, 2,300 above that, I believe. I believe it was about 36 cubic meters at 25,000 pesos. I believe that figures out to $543 US. Also find out how many appliances are going to stay. That air conditioning unit may belong to the present renter, and they may be taking that with them, as perhaps the same thing with the refrigerator and other items. Window air conditioners are used extensively here, and you often have to supply your own. Even with the brand new units you buy, there'll be a hole in the wall, and that's up to you to purchase what you want. I hope that information helps many of you. Don't be afraid to ask Filipinos. They're very friendly, very helpful people, but also be aware of what you're doing, and don't get taken by any scams here. Lots of things to do here. The weather is hot and warm and moist and dry. It's really pretty nice. I like it. And please subscribe if you find these videos helpful and entertaining. Have safe travels, folks.